Very glad to see you again. I don't know if you remember me, but I talk more with Bjorn, Jan, and I talk a little bit with your brother Jesper also lately. Uh,
Yes,
but we met at the cruise
yes, I remember.
on the beach, and I did the interview
Yeah,
with three of you. Uh,
yeah,
yes, so it's a great moment to talk to you again since the release of Kinship is about this album is about to be out in October 25th with Metal
yes,
Blade
yeah.
and
Friday next week.
and I have the chance to listen to that album for 3 weeks now, so I'm I'm so impressed. To be honest, congrats for this epic journey that you made again, because Access All Worlds was definitely one of my best album of 2021, and now you are like outdoing yourself. I think with this new release it's even better, same kind of quality, but I think you're going in places you didn't go on the first album, and it works so fine, so well. Um, I will tell you, for me, it's a masterpiece. Easily top three of the year so far. Maybe my top one. It's still growing on me with every single listen. Record is amazing. It's a progressive, like atmospheric metal album with black metal and death metal elements from time to time, even acoustic passages that are very soulful, emotional. Jan's vocal is off the charts. He's even more emotional than he was on the last album. Uh, he has like six different voices. Uh, so
Mhm.
it's pretty incredible, and it doesn't fit out of place at any time on the album. Like you will think six vocals, it will not fit in a record, but it does. And the songwriting of you and your brother is just magnificent. Memorable melodies, crushing riffs. Uh, Everything is about emotion, feelings. I think Bjorn's drumming is like he's doing all the feels he can possibly do on an album. And Eskil is really nice on the bass, filling all the little empty spots that maybe we're finding somewhere. So, how are you feeling about this new journey that you are offering us listeners?
I'm looking very much forward to it, and it feels good finally to let go of this album. It's uh, it's something we've been working on for years now, and when we had the final master back in early or mid spring this year, I was, and all of us were so exhausted and tired and it's not up until I think some weeks ago I could listen to the album freely, so to speak,
Oh,
where I felt like I was listening from the outside and not from the inside,
yeah.
and that has been very rewarding to me. I really love this album, and I'm very proud of it. And it's I can't wait to get it out.
Oh, I guess so, man. I was that was one of the album I was waiting the most this year, and I was so excited when you released the first single, because we already know Miss Land. That is a beautiful piece, representing quite well the sound of the band overall, and Twilight. I was like, okay, we are in for a treat again, and but no way. I was like ready for the first song on the album. I think it's maybe the best song I've heard so far this year. The first song, the almost title track, Kinship, Elegiac. Talk to me about this 13 minutes mammoth that is going all over the place, but at the same time, I think it delivers so many feelings and probably the best work of the band so far.
Thank you so much. It's so far, or this far into our career, it's definitely, I think, one of our creative highlights. Um, it's a song that has been very, very tricky to put together, but at the same time very easy to put together. Tricky because it has so many elements and it has so many shifts and turns. So you really have to put a lot of time into just listening to it again and again and be sure that everything works. And it can be tricky because when, for example, if you're like 7 minutes into it and everything works fine until then, and then something fucked up happens. Then you change that part, but then that changes something that went on the first 7 minutes. You know, when you have to like feel it as a whole. So in terms of the entire composition, it's been pretty difficult to put together. But at the same time, the ideas that this song is built on are so strong that so that on the other hand, they were pretty easy to work with, and the initial process of writing this song started with Jesper, my brother. He came up with all the clean parts from the intro.
Oh.
And so that's the first piece of music written for this song was the beginning of the song, and I think that clean part is something that we have kept for the right moment since 2015 or something. So that idea is almost 10 years old.
Oh, wow.
But it wasn't until that we started to put this song together that we found the right place for it. And it's his style, but at the same time, he was very inspired by two particular pieces of music for creating this. And people who knows these pieces of music will hear it if they check it out. Not stolen, not at all.
What are
inspired. The one piece is the main organ piece from Hans Zimmer's soundtrack for Interstellar.
Oh, I love that soundtrack. Big fan.
Yeah. And the other piece is a classical guitar piece called Recuerdos de Alhambra, I think, by the Spanish composer and guitarist Tarrega.
I don't know shit about that.
No, okay, check it out. It's a fantastic piece of music.
Can you repeat the name of the artist, please?
Tarrega, Tarrega, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, check it out. I think
check that out.
There's so many classical composers, and guitarists, so it might be another composer, but it should really not be. I'm pretty sure it's him. So that sets up that idea, and then some years back, I said to Jesper, this piece should definitely open a song, and it doesn't matter. It can be 7, 8, 10, 15, 20 minutes long. It doesn't matter. Let's just try to build. Let's try to continue the telling from this piece of music.
Yeah.
So I took the chords. Very simplistic. I just took the chords from his piece and made basically 2 or 3 versions of it that came to be the Pink Floyd kind of intro right after, and the verse, chorus.
Yeah, there's a crescendo.
Yes. So all that is written on top of the clean part. That's the same that was the same process. And then you have in our process the endpoint there, because that was a dead end for us. So the song could take off anywhere from there.
Totally.
So I think all the middle parts of the song, which is quite a lot of parts, they were written here and there and tried in other contexts and other songs and tried in this one, and so that was one big puzzle to make it work. And then eventually you drop back after all these crazy parts back into the guitar solo, the very long guitar solo that Jesper plays.
Wow.
And it's unbelievably good. And that's the riff that he wanted to build the solo on was a kind of Judas Priest kind of interpretation of the clean part in the intro. So when you listen to the
I'm hearing it now.
So when you listen to the solo, you can hear the intro, and that builds up, and then we couldn't really decide whether we should go back to some of the early riffs or maybe even fade out on that whole guitar solo environment or world. And but everything seemed like unsettling and not ambitious enough, and not. It's like there was a missing link or something. And so in A minor, like and I always is, but at that time I certainly was. I was very inspired by the way that Ivar from Enslaved can make riffs where you just let your right hand go and with open chords, but there is a telling within the open chords. So you create a melody, a melody inside the chord progression and the riff. So I wrote that outro riff with all the clean singing, and that riff seems conclusive enough for us. It was like
it is.
Because we thought should there come a riff after that, but instead we chose to build it up with blast beats and harmonizing guitars and stuff like that, and then just Jon's over the top vocal performance, and then build up to the peak, so to speak, where we would just drop the song, and actually we tried to extend the clean part afterwards and do some of the intro stuff again, and then have a piece of music with a lot of toms and very bombastic and with long chords. But that idea just watered down the entire song, so we took that away and went back to let the peak be the peak with the vocals, and then just let the song take its last breath right after that.
I think it's a tour de force, because you said it. There's a big crescendo at the beginning that set the atmosphere for the whole album. So it's beginning at first you're like, okay, they are going in this, they are more smooth on this album, and then it builds up, and then you have the middle parts and the other crescendo while just before the solo, and then you got a lot of dynamics, because the solo is changing tempos a lot, and then you come to a peak, and yes, you can think it can end like that, but no, there's more to offer. And I think the blast beat part with Jon's vocal on top is like the apex almost of the album, even if there's a lot of other apex, but it's one of the best part of the album, and I was like blown away. Even the first time, and now after like listening to that thing 10 times, I'm like even more blown away, because I'm expecting what is coming.
Yeah, I love that part, and we asked ourselves, how with that last part with the vocals, how can it get any further than this? And it just can't. And and even if we tried, it would seem almost, ironic or not serious or comical. You can push something to a degree at some point where it's not, it doesn't have an impact longer, or it, you take away the music's inner strength by
Yeah.
demanding too much of it. So that was just the place, and when we thought about putting that extra outro on the music, it was just like, what are we doing? Are we pissing directly in the face of the vocals? It's like we have to respect the best ideas we can come up with, and that was just to end the song right where it ends. I think it's perfect. So
Yeah, that's a perfect piece of music, definitely. Following on that, you talk about having the final product. I'm following Jacob Hansen.
yeah.
So I'm following him for more than 20 years with all his producing, mix, master, engineering. A lot of my favorite album of all time were produced at Hansen Studios. I was so excited to see you guys getting there, and I was like, holy shit, it will sound amazing for sure. And I know also Jacob from being in Beyond Twilight, Pyramaze, Anubis Gate, and Invocator, even back in the days. And what is it to be around that guy, and how much involvement he had on the song? You brought the product, and how much he was involved to just refine some part of it, or to come with the whole song of the album also.
The only major change we made in the studio with him was the intro to The Coming End. It was on the very last day, and we had this kind of drum build-up thing before it hit the main riff.
Yeah.
And it sounded cool in a way, because it was what you would do in a garage, but it never sounded like something from another destination. It was like, that song is so weird and I think majestic in its atmosphere that we needed to come up with something in the studio that had more mystique, and that where the song started directly with the main riff, just where it kicks in. So we cut out the original intro and took the lead guitar part from the chorus and made this shimmering effect coming in. And we were just like, fuck it, this is much better. And we're on our way out, and we have to finish the album, so we go with this. So that was the last minute thing that we did with him, where everybody agreed, even Jacob, that this is maybe a tiny weak spot on the album. Other than that, of course, he has a lot of influence, because he's the one doing the work at the mixing station.
Yeah.
So we can say, hey, what did you do with that? And can we do this instead? And this should be higher up in the mix, and this should be lower, and all that stuff. But essentially, it's coming from him. So no matter how much we say or do, it's him putting it together with his hands, concretely. And so just by then, he has big impact on the sound of the record, because he's the guy in charge at the mixing station. Then of course we have a lot of discussions about many things, basic stuff, where should things be in the mix? How do we, with complex layerings of lead guitars, vocals, bass and drums in one piece of music, how do we make sure that you hear the right things and you but you are just at the same time you can hear everything at once. And we have this ideal that if a lot of stuff is going on in our music, it's not that important that you listen to one thing in the arrangement, but you just kind of let go and just feel and the whole thing at once. And that's very difficult to mix. And but he's very good at that. And he never told us that's a shitty idea or you should definitely do this. He was always in a very cool way advising us. If he disagreed on something, he always showed concern by advising. Said, we can easily try that, but I think this will happen. And we try it. And if that happens, you might way down the line, in the future, regret this decision, because if you put this much up in the mix, you can't hear that part or stuff like that. So it's the balance in everything where he's really good in advising, and he can really he has a really good ear.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. So it was really wonderful being at his studio, and it was very relaxed, and there were no tensions at all, and it came out really good.
Oh, I will not change anything on that record, and I really like the tone of the guitar. I think that's one of the things I love about Iotunn, when there's a melody, and it was on the last record also. The tone was really good. Are you playing the same guitar as your brother? It's 7 strings, Iotunn Cedius.
No, I have a Regius.
Okay.
But in terms of set, yeah, and in terms of setup and stuff like that, we are pretty AC/DC kind of simplistic. All electric guitars are recorded with those 2 guitars.
Wow.
Everything. So we are not kind of.
I like the tone.
Yeah. I like the tone too, and I also think there's a lot of diversity, but that's a mixed thing, and then we have a couple of acoustic guitars, a 12-string guitar, and 1 Western guitar. So in total, I think 6 guitars are used on this record. In terms of tone, Jesper and I, we always have a clear idea about what we want it to sound like, but we have a shitty way to express it. So we had Skype meetings with Jacob, and we wrote some mails back and forth. And when we explain what we're going for, it's pretty much it's pretty abstract. It's like the rhythm guitars has to have a lot of body, and they have to attack you, but at the same time be soft, and it has to have a ring to it and sound like an organ, and very atmospheric, but at the same time tight as concrete. It's stupid stuff like that. It's stuff like that, and it really just gives him, freedom and nothing to work with. So, and he hit it. He had the tone we liked from the beginning. Of course, when we stand in the studio, we try out different reamping. So we have a couple of different things to choose from as the primary rhythm sound, for instance. And if it sounds good, we don't think too much about it. We don't think, okay, it's not good enough. If it sounds good, it has to sound perfect. If it's really good and everything sounds good, we know and we trust, and we know that we will end up somewhere where it will work.
Yeah, and it works, and there's a great balance in the sound, and I like how you were describing it, because it was the way I was feeling it also. So it's
Yeah.
atmospheric, but at the same time, it's really tight. And I think the lead guitar sounds so amazing, and it's like emotional at the same time. And yes, it's very well balanced. Um,
It's really the secret behind having these very atmospheric leads. And I'm not talking about tone, but modulations is that often you have a nice tone and then you put delay on and then you say yes, now it's atmospheric, but it's not quite atmospheric. You have to add the reverb into that also. So that's how you get this very atmospheric lead tone. You have to combine reverb and delay just in the right balance.
yeah, totally. And you got it. You nailed it. I can tell you. Um, Talk a little bit quickly about your musical journey with your brother since maybe the beginning. Not a long story, but just how you started to write music together and how it is right now to write music with your brother and all the influences you got along the way, old and new.
Yeah, we always played together since we were kids, playing classical guitar and stuff like that. And then in 2004-5, I think we tried to establish a new band, start up a band where we played some kind of melodic, progressive thrash metal, and we just couldn't find anyone to play with and members and stuff like that. And I did one thing and he did another, and then we went separate ways. And he started what would become Iotunn in 2009. I came in 2011, and then we just wrote, and it started out with 70s and 60s rock and hard rock and progressive rock and psychedelic rock, and more and more metal elements came into the picture. And then at some point, I think in 2014-15, we started to write the ideas that would end up on the Wizard Falls EP, and those songs, and that was when we decided to call our band Iotunn in February 2015, and that's we never tried to find a sound. And find the right way to work together. We just decided that we just have to keep on working together, and then we will arrive at the sound instead of us finding it. It will just kind of show up at some point because we have so many ideas. And then a lot of the ideas during 14, 15, and 16 came up with, and for the Wizard Falls also, but also some of the ideas that will be on that is on Kinship and definitely Access All Worlds, and even some old ideas back from 16. A couple of ideas I think will end up on our third album. So so things are just so
Evolving, always evolving.
yeah, in circles and in layers and stuff like that. And we are writing music all the time. We write apart and we write together, and we often meet and just go through all our ideas, but then every third month or something we go really deep. So we check our phones and stuff like that. Have you any ideas recorded the last year? And just make sure that all our ideas are collected someplace so that we don't miss anything. And then we have a very good understanding of, letting one of us record and riff and then throw the guitar or to the other guy and say, put something on top of my idea, and that's the way we do it, and it just works. And it's a lot of stuff happens when we work on music together. We have we have a lot of ideas, and but that's the key to create great ideas. You have to just keep on creating ideas, and then hopefully you have good judgment along the way.
Yeah, and I think you're just completing each other so well. So it's back and forth work, and some ideas are good up front, but some others will evolve with times and time to sink in, and years later it's now ready to go. And sometimes it just takes a lot more time than some ideas that are already great at the first try. um, Tell
Yeah,
me.
it's pretty. Yeah.
Yeah. Any
No,
chance
yeah.
to see you in North America?
At some point, yes.
Yes, it's in the part of the discussion.
We will get there. We will get there. It's difficult
I
uh,
guess.
to
Yeah.
make
Don't forget
work out.
Canada. Don't forget
Yeah.
Canada.
No, not at all.
Montreal, Quebec.
It's yeah. Hopefully we will get into something that where we can see something being finalized. But it's no secret that it's the whole touring aspect is it's a tricky business.
Totally.
But we really want to go, and so at some point it will happen, I'm sure.
That's great. I can help you a little bit. I know the promoter here, so if you don't have contacts, I can't send it to you. So
Sure, yeah.
very humbly, but I'll do it. I'll make the connection. But probably Metal Blade Records already knows, so I'm not of any help, maybe. Anyway, thank you for taking that time with me today. The record will be out on October 25th via Metal Blade Records. Any things you'd like to say as a conclusion to this chat?
Just thank you so much for inviting me for this, and help us spread the word. And it's about when we end up a process of making an album. It's from then on. It's about connecting with people for the love of music, and it's really awesome. It's been awesome to be on your show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to share passion for music, and not just metal, but music in general, because there's a lot of influences outside of metal in Iotunn music, and that's why I like it so much, I think. So thank you very much, and hope to see you quickly.
Yeah.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.